Hey everyone, welcome to the ranking. Here's my ranking of Noah Baumbach's movies. Yes, Noah Baumbach is a very distinct and very unique and kind of quirky filmmaker, sort of kind of like a Wes Anderson sort of feel, sort of director. Actually, I think Wes Anderson's a little better, but I still am a pretty big fan of Noah Baumbach. When he does a great film, kind of like David Russell, when he does a great film, it is a really damn good movie. But unlike David Russell, because there's some David Russell films I absolutely hate, there's not really a single Noah Baumbach movie I actually hate. He just has some movies that are kind of just to me. His movies are either really freaking good or just kind of meh. And yeah, I'm here to celebrate his great and his meh movies by giving my ranking of all of his films. And this is also to celebrate his new movies. He's coming out with a new Netflix movie that has Ben Stiller, Dustin Hoffman, and Adam Sandler. It's a new dramatic comedy. It's called The Meyerowitz Stories or something. Is that what it's called? The Meyerowitz Stories? Whatever. It's coming on Netflix soon. I have no idea when, but I can't wait to watch it because, again, I like Noah Baumbach. And to celebrate his movies and that movie coming out, here is my ranking of all of Noah Baumbach's movies from my least favorite to my favorite. So yeah, let's get to it. Here's my ranking. Alright, coming at number 9 is the movie Kicking and Screaming. Yes, Kicking and Screaming is, no, it's not the Will Ferrell movie when he's the soccer coach. No, this is a 1995 dramatic comedy that has Eric Stoltz. Eric Stoltz has actually been in a few Noah Baumbach movies, mostly his early work, and I really don't care for this movie. Eric Stoltz is really good. There is some pretty sharp writing every now and then. It does come off a bit clunky because, again, this is one of Noah Baumbach's early works. This is when he started getting into the movies and stuff, and there is some really clunky execution with its story. The story is all over the place at times, and again, it doesn't know how to balance the comedy and drama properly. Some of the dramatic scenes come out of nowhere. Some of the comedic scenes come off funny at times, but then sometimes it's really off-putting with its comedy. And yeah, I just didn't know really what to expect from this movie, and I really just didn't care for it. It's not really a bad movie, but it's definitely a forgettable film and not a really enjoyable movie. It's not a movie I would ever put on again. Again, there was some good writing and there's a good performance by Eric Stoltz in the film, but it's definitely a movie I've never watched again, and it's definitely my least favorite Noah Baumbach movie. Coming number 8 is Margaret at the Wedding. Yes, Margaret at the Wedding has a huge cast. The cast in this movie is huge. It has stars Jack Black, Nicole Kidman, Jennifer Jason Leigh, who else? What's his name? John Turturro. Everyone. There's a big cast in this movie, and again, it's a dramatic comedy, which is Noah Baumbach style. He likes to put this weird, quirky comedy, very dark and realistic comedy, also with some really compelling humanistic drama, all in his films, and it doesn't really work very much. The performances by everyone is good. No one's really bad. Jack Black is fine. Nicole Kidman's fine. John Turturro, Jason Leigh. They all give fine performances. And again, the writing isn't the huge issue, but it's kind of the story. The dialogue is not bad, and the characters aren't bad, but the story just doesn't always work for me in this movie. Again, it's all over the place, and it's not well executed. That comes to direction, and also, in this movie, the characters are very despicable. Again, the performances are good, and the dialogue they're saying is really good and feels realistic, but I didn't like any characters in this movie. Again, that's the thing with Noah Baumbach's movies. When he makes movies, he makes a lot of very realistically unlikable characters, but some of them have a distinct personality about them, and some of them are really funny and enjoyable to watch. In this one, they weren't really funny, and they weren't really relatable or enjoyable to watch, so basically, it was just watching a bunch of assholes on the screen, and that's not what I was like watching and stuff. That's the same problem I had with the war movie Fury. That was a well-made movie, but I just didn't like any of the characters. This movie's the same. It's a decent movie, just has some problems with the story, and I just don't like any of these characters. The movie itself is not that bad, but I just don't really care for the characters, and I think the story is sloppily executed at times, but I don't know, I can see why people would like this movie, especially die-hard Noah Baumbach fans, but for me, it's just kind of meh. Coming number 7 is Mistress America. Mistress America is a very short Noah Baumbach movie. This is like an hour and 10-minute film, and has Greta Gerwig, and I love Greta Gerwig, especially when she does a Noah Baumbach movie. This movie just is very forgettable to me. It's not bad. It's actually very well shot. The cinematography is really good. I love the black eye. I think Greta Gerwig does a very good job. I think the writing is pretty good, and the pacing is pretty good. Just I don't find the story very interesting, and I find the movie very generic and kind of forgettable. Out of all of Noah Baumbach's movies, it's not really good to be forgettable. But again, it's not a bad movie. Just it's definitely one of the most forgettablest Noah Baumbach films. So yeah, it never really sticks out to me. And again, I'd probably never watch it again either. So yeah, Mistress America, not a bad movie, but just not for me. Coming number 6 is MrJealousy. MrJealousy, again, is another Eric Stoltz movie. Nicholas Stoltz, what am I talking about? Yeah, Eric Stoltz was in this movie. This is a romantic comedy, and unlike Kicking and Screaming, this movie is actually more enjoyable to watch. Kicking and Screaming is a little off-putting. This movie actually is more funnier, more romantic, more deep, has better writing. Eric Stoltz, again, is good in the movie. Again, kind of like Mistress America, is a bit forgettable. Sometimes I kind of mix the movies up. I'm like, oh, that's Kicking and Screaming. No, that's MrJealousy. Like, sometimes I mix movies up and stuff because, again, some Noah Baumbach movies clunk together because they're just not as memorable or as enjoyable as his great movies. But MrJealousy is a way better movie than Kicking and Screaming. It has better comedy, better performances, and better writing and better direction. It is a bit sloppy at times. It is a bit forgettable at times, but it's a better movie. Coming number 5 is Greenberg. Greenberg is actually a great film. Again, a movie I probably wouldn't watch again because there's some scenes in this movie just come off a little too distasteful for me, but I can actually say this is a great film. Ben Stiller's great, the writing's great, the direction's great. It has that weird, quirky style like a Wes Anderson movie and, of course, a Noah Baumbach movie, but it's just a little too unlikable, a little too distasteful for me. It's definitely a one and done, but it's still a great film. Coming number 4 is Frances Ha. Frances Ha is so great. I love this movie. Again, the black and white style is great. The cinematography is fantastic. The performances are all great. Greta Gerwig is amazing. I don't even know why she didn't get an Oscar nomination. She is phenomenal in this movie. I love Adam Driver in this movie. The whole cast is great. I love the story. It's a very simplistic story. This probably would have made my number 2, but again, these Noah Baumbach movies are the great Noah Baumbach movies. These are the movies that make me a Noah Baumbach fan. Like, these are the great films. Frances Ha is fantastic. The writing is great. It's well paced. It's very interesting. It's a great character study. It's so thought-provoking, so deep, and very, very humanistic. And yeah, I absolutely love Frances Ha. It's so good. Coming number 3 is De Palma. Yes, De Palma is a documentary about Brian De Palma. This documentary came out last year. This was probably my 3rd favorite documentary that came out last year. Yeah, Life Animated was one of my favorites, but For the Love of Spock was my favorite documentary that came out last year, but De Palma was so good. It was directed by Noah Baumbach. Yeah, Noah Baumbach did a documentary about a great filmmaker directing a documentary about another great filmmaker. Brian De Palma is fantastic, and this documentary about him and his whole filmography is just interesting. It's just Brian De Palma sitting in a chair talking about his movies. It's fun facts about his movies and how he made these movies. Movies like Carrie and Greetings and all his great films. Like they talk about his relationship with his actors and directors and even his the women he married and stuff. And yeah, he did come off a bit unlikable at times, but he also is a real talent. So you can see the sheer talent when he talks about filmmaking and stuff. And yeah, I'm a big Brian De Palma fan because I love like Scarface and Blowout and again Carrie and stuff. And I loved seeing how he came up with these ideas for these movies and stuff. It's a fantastic documentary, and it's a well-directed documentary, and it's very interesting and very captivating. And yeah, if you love movies and you love filmmaking, you'll definitely love this movie. Coming number 2 is While We're Young. Yes, While We're Young came out in 2015. I did a review of this in 2015, and yes, that review for some reason had this controversy. A lot of people strongly disagreed with me. People were like hating on me because I liked this movie, and I gave it such a high grade. I think I want to give this movie like a 9.2 out of 10 because I love this movie so much. People are like, oh, so disagree with me. This movie's stupid. It's not funny. It's not creative. It's such a dumb movie. Strongly disagree. Strongly teaches them. Like, everyone has different opinions and different tastes, but I loved this movie. I loved the performances. I thought this movie was so funny, so creative, so well directed, so well written. I thought Ben Stiller, Naomi Watts, Amanda Seyfried, Adam Driver were all fantastic in this movie. And yeah, I really loved it. Also, Charles Grodin is in this movie. We never get to see Charles Grodin. He is awesome in this movie. How Noah Baumbach wrote and directed this movie was so well done, so well executed, so well structured. I love this movie. Some people disagree with me, but I love it. And my number one favorite Noah Baumbach movie is The Squid and the Whale. The Squid and the Whale is so great. This is the kind of movie that has these unlikable characters, but they have this distinct personality and relatability about them that you enjoy them, even though they are unlikable. But that's the point, and that's what kind of makes it funny at times. Kind of like watching Seinfeld. You know you're watching a bunch of unlikable people, but it's kind of funny and kind of intriguing to watch. Even though you can't relate to them, but you can relate to some of the things they go through. And yeah, The Squid and the Whale is exactly like that. This movie is so well done. The two lead performances are just amazing. Like, Jeff Daniels is amazing in this movie, and so is Jesse Eisenberg. This movie actually teaches you a lot too, because it's a very smart, very intellectual movie. How it's written, how it's executed, how it's directed, how it's structuralized, and even how it's paced. The mood, style, and atmosphere is fantastic. The score is really great, and again, I love how this movie is crafted. This is hands down one of my favorite, coming-of-age stories, and it's hands down my favorite Noah Baumbach movie. So yeah, that was my ranking of all of Noah Baumbach's movies, from my least favorite to my favorite. So in the comment section below, please tell me, what is your ranking of all of Noah Baumbach's movies, from your least favorite to your favorite? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.